We back.
And I'm slightly under the weather. My voice may be easier to
Last
hear.
time we were on this, I was slightly under the weather, and I passed it to you. A
Thank
little ping pong ball, a little volley.
A little ping pong virus.
Oh.
Geez, thanks. You're too kind.
Well, welcome to the Baking It Down with Sugar Cookie Marketing Podcast. We are your host, Corey and Heather. Sounds better than Heather and Corey.
I really feel like everyone says Heather and Corey.
Okay, it does sound better, Heather and Corey. But today it's Corey and Heather. We are actually two admins of a group on Facebook called, you'll never guessed it, Sugar Cookie Marketing
No
Group.
way. What a creative name.
Thank you. One thing I've never been, two things I've never been in the same sentence is creative and Corey. All right.
So you cancel each other out.
What we do is we have 46,000 bakers in the group.
Wow.
And there's topics that are flying by every single day. So what we do is we either read your suggestions of things that you would like to hear on the podcast.
Maybe your sound effects for this.
Hot topics.
Ah.
That was an easy one. Customer bashing. So this one was actually asked of us on our Facebook page, and it was, what are you supposed to put in a newsletter? We hear you say, make a newsletter, send a newsletter, but what is a good newsletter consist of?
There are some nuances.
There are some nuances.
Here's the interesting thing to keep in mind. What is an ideal newsletter for me is not the same for everybody else.
Right.
Coach sends newsletters every hour. That's too much for me. But some people must be buying from it. But we're going to say, here's our lowest buy-in, right? So the least you can do to get a good newsletter out the door.
To me, I don't need to hear about you every week.
Me? What about lunches?
DSW, I understand.
Yeah.
You got shoes in there for sale. When it comes to a small business where you're not hosting...
DSW be like, your birthday's 6 months away. Want to sale? Your birthday
was 6 months ago. Want another now?
Right. So this is going to be tips for the minimum viable, the MVP, the minimum viable product newsletter.
And don't think of the word minimum like, oh, you're just base level.
If this is all you ever did, it would still be amazing.
This is still amazing. And the reason why email is such a big thing is because it still rules as one of the number one marketing avenues that you can have.
A couple reasons why. One, we all have an email.
We do. I have many.
Right. So not everyone's on Facebook. Not everyone's on Instagram. We're all on email. The few people you got to print out a flyer, they're on their own. But 99% of the people you're talking to have an email address. That's great. So we already have a well-adapted medium.
Yeah.
Second, very rare in social media these days, email shows up chronologically. It was so funny. A couple of years ago, maybe probably 6 years ago, Google created this product called Inbox by Google.
Okay.
And it stopped chronological emails. It started grouping them based off of importance. And obviously it's in the Google graveyard.
Oh, yeah.
So email is chronological, which is really great because in the land of algorithms and social media, we're fighting what's most creative content versus emails like this arrived at 5:30 this afternoon. Like, thank you so much. So email is, widely adopted. It is chronological. And now within that, we can compete for space.
Plus, it's opt-in, mostly, for people who are following the rules. So if someone opts in for your email, they're more likely to want to read the content that you're sending them.
Buzzword opt-in means I signed up for your newsletter, and I want it. So what Corey's saying is people who typically read things that they want to read, they ask to read this. So when they get it, and we'll explain the buzzwords, but they're reading it. That's called your open rate. They click on the email, they read it. Your open rate is higher.
Yeah.
Versus, I liked your page, but what did I really sign up for when I liked your page?
Someone went to the top, clicked the 3 buttons, invited all the friends.
Yeah, and then now I'm being my ambassador. So that is why email is such a strong tool. And then with email lists, unlike kind of social media, you can grow these lists and you can kind of create
invaluable.
Yeah, and we didn't do the podcast last week. I was under the weather and we had some family stuff, but someone was like, I didn't get your Wednesday newsletter. And I was like, yeah, that shows consistency.
That's on my list. Timeliness.
We were not timely. Do as we say, not as we do. So we're going to go through how to know your newsletters. Right. Let's start off with the email list. So before we have a newsletter, you can have the best newsletter in the whole world. We have no one to send it to. It is worthless, right? So everyone says, how do I start the list? Now, I have reviewed the can spam laws
Yes.
that surround newsletter and spamming. That's why Corey is like, opt-ins. the way I've read it, and again, interpret the laws yourself, but I've read through many of the stuff published by the CAN-SPAM law or whatever, and if they purchase something from you, they're on your list. Now, the requirements for that, again, I think I did a live on this, and we read through them all together. It has to be the content. If they bought tires from you, you're not going to suddenly send them cookie stuff. So if you have a spouse, here's the thing: if you have, and I hate it when people do this to me. If you have a spouse and they build decks, and you take that deck list of their clients, and they say, well, I think these people with decks would also have mouths, and they would want cookies. That's against the law. Yeah. That is not what they signed up for when they bought the deck. They only wanted deck content.
And I want to say, to put someone on a list that they didn't opt in, you're really muddying the waters of your marketing.
Right. So what happens when you take a list of people who have ordered from you, while it is legal to send them an email, the side effect is they didn't truly opt in. They didn't sign up for, like, if you guys get the Onesday Wednesday newsletter, every single one of you signed up. I did not sign you up. You clicked a button. You were like, I want the free stuff. I hate the email. But you signed up, right? Now, if we take our list from Square, we export our client list from Square, and we say, we're going to opt these people into a newsletter, that first email is going to get a ton of unsubscribes.
Yeah, absolutely, because they wanted cookies from you 1 year ago when their child was 1.
And a lot of you, so here's my thing for how, when we start working with new clients, the new clients are like, well, here's my email list from 20 years ago. And I'm like, those people probably don't have that email anymore. And even if they did, the fact that you haven't contacted them in so long, what happens is you're going to get a mass unsubscribe. And that flags very. In fact, MailChimp, if you do a mass import like that, MailChimp will say, we're not going to email these people.
Oh, because it dings them.
So consider that the newsletter sender has a reputation as well with the email providers. If they get blacklisted, then that was the thing that I think with My Custom Bakes, they were all sharing one domain, and then people were using it incorrectly, and it blacklisted the domain. So I don't know what they had to do in the back end. But that's why that those newsletter senders are like, hey, you're not going to burn us because you're not practicing. Yeah. So like MailChimp, even though I think I had just switched from a provider to another provider for a client, they had been emailing them consistently. But when I went to import into MailChimp, MailChimp says, no, that's way too many. That's so out of character for your account. Even though they were all opt-in, they were consistently emailing, even MailChimp was like, no. Yeah. So consider that there is a timeline where it's too far back and you are now imposing yourself on somebody you never outreached to before. Yeah, honestly, so let's say we take the last year of orders.
For the last year, why do it to them today?
So let's say, I would take the last 365 days of orders. I think they're still in
the grace period of
your grace period of like, hey, I'm starting up a newsletter, and I wouldn't be, well, who are you? Yeah. It's wild. I mean, you could do 6 months and that would be stunning.
That would, I think, be super fair.
People are like, I didn't bake all summer. There's nobody on my list. So, okay, you generate that email. So now a great way to start continuing to grow that email list is great.
You have a big chunk of hair hanging down, but you keep trying to put him up in your bun.
Yeah, he's down there. Yeah, but he's short enough that he doesn't fit there.
But you keep trying to put him up.
But I don't like it touching me. A little sensory issue there. So, generating the list, you can use, ideally you have a subscriber list that you've been growing, you just haven't emailed, but if not, old clients, but again, not too far back in time.
The best day to plant a tree was 50 years ago. The next best day is today.
Thank you. Same with your email list. Now create a sign-up form within MailChimp, and we'll talk about the senders in just a second. There's abilities to make these landing pages, these little sign-up forms to sign up. We created a URL for ours. There's a newsletter.com. Type that in. You'll go to Sendgrid. That's one we use for the Onesday Wednesday newsletter. Hate it. Don't use it. But you can sign up there.
Dumb it down for me.
Okay.
Dumb it down.
I have an email list. I want you to sign up for my list.
Okay.
How am I going to get you to sign up for the list? I need a sign up form.
And how do we make a form?
Within these newsletter senders.
Okay.
Is a tab.
Oh.
It says form, sign up form.
No way.
And you just have to click a couple buttons.
Oh, and that's what you would give?
Gives you a tiny URL.
Oh.
You use that URL and you send it. You post on your Facebook page. Send a text. Say, anyone want to sign up for my newsletter?
So when someone signs up through that URL that you get from
puts them on the list you chose.
Where is the same place you'd be sending the emails from?
And you go create a newsletter. It says what list, and you'd be like, that list I just made for that sign up form.
I think a lot of times specifically me, hear that. You're like, landing page, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that sounds like a tomorrow quarter problem. But if you have what Heather's saying, the email platform. So
newsletter platform.
These are what companies that you have heard of.
MailChimp, Flowdesk, Sendgrid, Square. There's so many.
You can choose which one. They're all different. Some will have email templates in there.
Most.
They will hold your email addresses in there.
All.
They do cost some money.
All. Except for MailChimp's a little cheap. MailChimp has a very limited free plan. Great to get started.
Okay.
The big key as far as choosing your senders, do not choose your personal or work Gmail. If you're sending from @gmail.com, do not do that.
Okay.
That is breaking the rules.
Okay.
There's now, I was skimming, we're circumventing the rules of creating that list. Within that newsletter, there are a lot of rules. It has to be able to be unsubscribed. You have to have your address on there. There are a lot of rules governing what happens. That's why those using a newsletter sender is so important, because they're abiding by the rules. Thus, by proxy, so are you.
I want to say there's this real estate agent. I've known her for, I want to say, the better part of 11 years. I've tried to unsubscribe. Mm-hmm. I've been on her list for 11 years against my will.
The circumvent is you unsubscribe from that list. And they're working around it that, yeah, it's a lot of rules. And a lot of people are violating those rules. You don't want to be caught violating the rules. I'd rather an email go to somebody who wanted it than to 10 people who didn't.
I want to say, when it comes to your marketing, you have to think of your target audience. You don't want to end up in the inbox of someone who doesn't want to hear about you. 1, they're not going to open it. 2, they can mark it as spam. 3, unsubscribe, things like that.
That's what happens when you mark an email as spam. Eventually, you end up, guess what, in the spam folder. Yes. And never to arise.
And I've seen some baking companies in my spammy folder.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So the way to, everyone's like, well, how do I end up not in spam? It's really good newsletter sending hygiene.
Yeah.
And it's repeated over periods of time that your audience, I think sometimes when we look at metrics and numbers, we get lost in how many people are on your list, as if that's the award. Well, I have 5,000 people on my list. I'm the best list maker in the world. In reality, if you had 10 people on your list, all 10 open the email every week, that's the best list.
Wow, what a converting rate.
Right. So watch which guiding it could be I reached 1 million people on my Facebook page, but they're all death threats. Okay, viral is great until it's not.
Right.
So, back up to sign up forms and landing pages. Again, buzzwords, but like Corey said, it's a tab within all these senders. It's also included.
Nice. Give me a rough estimate of what I'd be expecting to pay for some of these.
MailChimp, I think under 500 subscribers and under a certain amount of emails per month is free.
Is free? So that's why Heather said it's a good starting place. What's great about it, if you start with MailChimp, you can what's called export. Take out all those email addresses you collected and put them in more of a paid platform that gives you more wiggle room.
If you find this is jiving, I'm always let's do a low cost toe dip.
Yeah, a little.
And then see, and maybe you like MailChimp.
Sure.
It is nice enough. It's not as cute as some of the others. Yeah. It does tend to get pricier. But at that point, we're talking 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 emails. If you're sending that many emails out, you come to the Teach This podcast. You get on this side of the microphone. So for a lot of us, a lot of our email list could be a nice 40 people.
Nice.
And that's, if you got 40 orders a month, you're booked.
Listen.
Right? You turn
in the
off.
kitchen right now.
Yeah. So don't fall prey to, I need so much space. I need a sender that allows me to send 2,000 emails a month. Mm-hmm. Because likely you're never going to even get close to that.
Yeah.
Flowdesk is really, really pretty. It has some really, really nice automations included in its price. So MailChimp will be we have automations, but it won't be included in a free plan. It'll be included in a very expensive plan. So the thing to understand is while Flowdesk includes a lot of that, and it's one of the few platforms I've seen that doesn't raise the price based off how many emails you send. Yeah. So it's you can use an affiliate link and get half price for 1 year, and then it goes back to I think the full price is $40.
When you say for us
Sorry,
people,
keep bringing
what are
back
automations?
Let's say I sign up for you guys all experience automations when you sign up for a newsletter.
Yeah.
And immediately you get an email in your inbox.
Oh, nice.
And then the next 2 days later, you get another email. And it's very similar. It's hey, you got our first email. And 3 days later after that, you get another email. Those are all automated. Nobody's sitting behind a computer saying, and send it to Corey. It's all automated.
We got to sign up. We got to sign up.
So you took an entry action, signing up for the newsletter. And now you're in a funnel of automated sending. And there you can delay them by 3 days, 5 days, 10 days. You can do them every other day. And then you can have an exit action within Flowdesk.
Okay. So if someone unsubscribed.
Unsubscribe is a guaranteed exit action for everybody, and that's by law. Within Flowdesk, you can say if they click this button to sign up for this, stop sending them the email to sign up for this. Yeah. So if they click this, the exit action takes them out of the funnel. So it's not like, did you buy this? And they're like, I bought it 3 emails ago. So Flowdesk does include that. It does not have a cap for your thing. And then it has a new product. They keep adding new stuff to it. I haven't looked at it, but you can also do checkout within Flowdesk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So kind of, so it's a whole.
Would that attach to a website?
It kind of create it within them. So like you'll click and you can buy within the email.
I mean, annoying as a business owner to have to now manage another cart.
Yeah. But money. So Flowdesk is neat. Now Sendgrid is kind of for bigger centers. I think it's exceptionally clunky. Everything is behind a paywall. I would not recommend it. However, we do use it for the Onesday Wednesday newsletter. Okay. Why? That's a problem. Got in bed with them early. And it's so hard to get back out.
Easier. Would you suggest
anybody use it now?
Would you suggest that if most people who start with a platform stick with that because it's annoying to switch?
You get historical data.
True.
Like I said, big imports in these newsletter senders, and they're like, no, that's going to flag our system. So if you create the list within these platforms, they're never worried about it.
Okay.
I can click on somebody's email and see how many times they received the email, how many times they've opened the email.
So you almost get like this running diary for each person that's on your list.
The dangerous thing about exporting lists is if somebody unsubscribes, you're technically not allowed to email them again. But when you go, if you say, well, hey, I want to export all my subscribers and unsubscribers, you essentially violated the law by signing them back up when you import into a new newsletter center. The easy part there is only export the subscribers.
Yeah.
But yeah, you lose that historical data. We've been sending the Onesday Wednesday newsletter for years at this point. I can see a lot of trends. Yeah. I can see what people like, what they don't like, when they unsubscribe.
That is valuable.
So it's always easy to start.
Chicken or the egg?
Right. Do you want to invest in the money in Flowdesk? No. But then you're paying money. What if you never send the newsletter? So it's always the, hit or miss. So, the ideal thing is send the newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter sender, send the newsletter. And then I think within websites, website builders, now they're integrating a lot of their own newsletters. They don't want to lose you to people like Flowdesk. Like Flowdesk is a newsletter sender and it's getting into websites.
Yeah, I see.
So now websites are like, well, we're going to get a newsletter. I know Square, it's really nice when the website host also has that integration. So like Square will be like, somebody's bought from you. We had a check. Do you want to sign up for a marketing material? Now you can send them an email, send them a text. I think Castern has a component of that. I think Shopify might have a plugin for that. Shopify loves to charge you with them plugins. But a lot of things, and why I like Shopify as a platform is it's so pervasive now.
Yeah.
It has a lot of really quick integration. So I can say Shopify imported into MailChimp one click.
Oh, nice.
A lot of these API connections allow us to do that. Yeah. So there's more manual boots in the field where you're like actually like saying import, let me see these people. The more times you touch the contacts, the more you know about your list.
True.
But on the flip side, we only have so many hours in the day, and automations, import, export, send it, those funnels kind of takes us out of it, but still has us out there. Right. Again, there's a compromise. I want to be authentic, but I also need to actually bake.
To make this stuff.
Sometimes I'm like, wow, I just wanted to do marketing, but I'm doing everything but. So find your email sender. A lot of them give you free trials. Dip your toe in, see what you like, see if it clicks. Some interfaces, I'm a real clean UI girly. Mm-hmm. I don't like so much like, huzzah! Does Canva do newsletters yet? If not, did you see what Canva's doing?
No.
You remember the grandfather pricing? It's all gone. It all bumps up on October 1st, and it's expensive. There's no real need now to join a Canva team.
Oh, really?
It's now the way that they've changed everything is Canva teams are gone in a way.
Why? Yeah. Once they get you in there and you start liking it.
And then, it's a great app. It's still such a great app. I can't say it's so bad. I only use the free plan, and I still think it's a great app. Anyways, back to this. So you have your email list. You're growing that email list. To grow your email list, you could just post to social media. Again, you're going to be consistent about that. One post and hoping people sign up is never going to happen. In fact, Facebook hates external links. These will be external links.
Absolutely. So what Heather's saying by that is Facebook's job is to keep you on their platform. When you're on their platform, they can serve you ads. That is how Facebook gets paid. When you post a link, whether it be to your website, to sign up for a newsletter, The problem is it's taking them off of Facebook and putting them on something that you own. Facebook says, you know what? I don't really like that. That's taking my user that I brought to you and taking them somewhere else. We're going to lower the reach on this bad boy. So you're going to say, no one signed up for my newsletter. Unfortunately, it didn't get shown to anybody because it's an external link.
Consider every email, you can put it in your email signature. Sign up for my newsletter.
Yeah.
I think WiseStamp, the email signature manager we pay for, also has a quick link to sign up for the newsletter, and you just link it to the form. Every promotions, giveaways are a great way to grow an email list. We tell people that come to our Sugar Cookie classes, I sign them up for an email list, and it'll say like, hey, we sometimes have last minute cancellations and these tickets will just be half price or less, and we do giveaways. That's a great way to grow your email list. I've never signed up for an email list not with a motivation, right? I've never been like, I'm bored, I'd like to read something. Usually it's like I want the product, or I want the discount, or I want to know what's going to happen. Yeah.
You could do, if you wanted people to sign up, you could say, I'm giving a free dozen away to someone who signs up for my email list.
And then put a cap on it, like saying, I'll announce it in my email list.
I'll announce
my email subscribers will know. So you will not know if you won if you did not sign up. So that is how to kind of generate these signups, and then be consistent with reminding people to sign up and make it worth their while. We're going to talk about what to include in these newsletters in just a second. Find your email sender. Is that the recycling guy? You need him to get
up your box.
Darn that box. It's not going to fit anywhere. Email sender, MailChimp, Flotus, Sendgrid, Square. Find one that fits your budget, that fits your needs, that fits your email list size.
It fits how you work, because Square is nice because you could have both in one place.
Yes, it may not be the prettiest. Flotus is very pretty. Some of these use Zapier, which is that automation, and some of them don't have that API enabled. So again, if you're like, I love automations, maybe Square is not going to be it, because Square likes to keep itself within itself. It does not like to share. Square, no share. Okay, then we go to our content. So we got our list, we got our center. Everything's great. Now we sit down and we're just, oh my goodness, what do I did the hard part, but now the harder part is here, the content. So within the content of a newsletter, we have the subject line, we have the preview text, we have merge text, and we have the body. So it's the 4 components of this. Now let's break it down. So we're going to break it down by chronological order of importance.
Okay.
The first thing you see when you get a newsletter is the subject line.
Subject line. So what the subject line would be, someone would be like, Labor Day sales from now till, and then it will cut it off.
Truncated, yeah. So subject lines, the first couple of characters are the most important. Now, what should your subject line be? You'll see if the best way to see which subject lines are the best is go to your own inbox and see which ones draw your eyes. One
that isn't good is July newsletter, August newsletter. There's nothing to makes me cry with Snooze Fest.
Snoozeletter.
The Snoozeletter.
So your subject line, you don't want to be too crazy.
A lot of times people are like, oh, sorry for what was in the last email, and I open it up.
Sorry. If it says, sorry, oops about that, I'll immediately open it. But you can't abuse that. You can't do that too often. And I think a lot of marketers did abuse that.
They did.
Okay, so if we want a consistent line that isn't oops every time.
Listen.
Oops, I did it again.
Here's the thing. We're entering fall season.
So here's what I would do.
Okay.
I've got something scary to tell you.
Nice. Listen. We're nosy.
No.
We're nosy.
I put the nosy. You can include emojis in subject lines.
Which makes it pop a little bit when I'm looking.
Before everyone's like, Corey just said don't include the date in the newsletter subject line. I do that for the Wednesday newsletter so I can chronologically order them myself.
Do what we do.
But then I include an emoji. And then I include the title of the podcast.
Do what we do.
Just, like the date. I'll be honest. So we got the subject line. I would do a ghost emoji, and then I have something. Okay, now this is where capitalization is important. I prefer, and Google prefers, capitalizing every letter. That's an important word. I don't know what you'd call that.
Sounds like a title.
Have capitalized something, capital S, scary. But here's the thing. In the scary, I do all caps.
Scary, yeah.
And then 2 lowercase, tell, capital You, period.
Yeah.
Right. But then I would have that emoji first because that emoji, whatever, probably to tell you is going to get truncated. It depends on the receiver's inbox. So AOL is going to be different than Google. Google's going to be different if you have the preview panel, if you don't have if you have a comfy or if you have large or tiny. So that's how I do my subject line. You're we do from the Miracle Twins.
Yes.
That's what it's always from. I could do from Sugar Cookie Marketing. I prefer the personal take.
What do you think if someone did from your favorite baker? Your favorite Woodbridge baker?
Here's the confusing part. I'm pretty positive I ask you first and last name. The sender does.
From Corey Miracle Baker.
You could. So you could do your company name, Mixing Bowl Cookie Company. I don't think you can get too creative on that. I don't know what the laws are from the from. I know it's got to align with the content in there, but we do the Miracle Twins. I just picked it. Sugar Cookie Marketing sound a little boring. Miracle Twins sound a little bit more personal. I know that there was a thread in the group this week on I versus we.
I'm an I-er.
And a lot of people were weers. But Corey and I are a we when it does come from that. Been a we my whole life. So you got the from. Then we got preview text. Now this is only some senders do, or some email providers show this. So you see the initial subject line, and then you see a preview text that is kind of a little bit more of a hint. So what we don't want is just to duplicate the subject line.
Yeah. So if you're saying, I have something scary to tell you, you don't want to say, I have something scary to tell you in your email.
That would be redundancy, and that would be a waste of space, right? So we want that imagine if the subject line was the heading of our outline, the preview text would be the supporting argument. So if I have something scary to tell you, now I want to hint towards them what's in here. Here's my top 10 pumpkin patches in our area.
Yes.
Right. Okay, we haven't mentioned cookies yet. It wouldn't be, or have something scary to tell you. These always sell out. These Halloween favorites always sell out. So we got the cookies. So it depends on what the content is. But I want to hint towards, what we want to do is the subject line pique their interest. The preview line drags their interest in. We're all trying to get that ever coveted click.
Yeah.
It's called your open rate. We want them to open the email. So you can see that this is a game of Laffy Taffy that pulls them in. How can we keep the taffy pulling here? How can we keep it sweet enough that they keep chewing?
Yeah.
Right. So then we have, and we have merge tags. This is a buzzword in newsletters. Merge tags. If you ever were in high school, and you're in your 30s now, you had to take a class on Microsoft Word and use a mail merge button that allowed you.
I must have taken that class, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, let's say you sign up for a newsletter and ask you your first and last name.
Okay.
So you say Corey Miracle, and then ask your email, Corey@sugarcookiemarketing.com. Every email you receive from me now says, "Hey, Corey."
Yes.
But do you think I'm actually saying CORRIE
Well,
send?
no, I don't.
A merge tag allows a newsletter to insert any name in place of the tag.
I can tell people who have taken the Sugar Cookie Marketing.
Hey, Sugar Cookie.
Hey, Sugar Cookie. That's not my name.
Right. So what Corey's saying is we signed up for a newsletter, and in our name, we put Sugar Cookie Marketing. Now they're using a merge tag for first name. They've assigned that as a first name, and now it created hey, Sugar Cookie Marketing last name. So in merge tags, the reason why merge tags are great is because they do increase open rates. Yeah. When I see my own name,
absolutely,
I can't help it. The most sweetest word in the English language is your name. So merge tag, the way you do that when you create your sign up form, you ask for the first and last name, and those sign up forms have those templates already built out for you. All you do is just turn it on. When somebody signs up, you're going to see your email list has their first name, last name, and their email. When you go to create your template, and you can use templates, we'll talk about that in a second. It's going to say, do you want to insert a tag? And you're going to say, yeah, first name. So you go, hey, and it's going to look like a bracket, first name bracket.
Yeah.
When that newsletter ends up in someone's inbox who signed up with their first and last name, it's going to say, hey, Corey. Mine's going to say, hey, Heather.
Yeah.
It's going to be, hey, Susie. Hey, Sarah. It's going to be all these names.
To that specific person.
And it makes you seem more personal. Although it's a very impersonal thing because we used a merge tag, humans cannot help but like our names. The more information you gather in your sign-up form, the more tags you have options for. But that's always the hit or miss. How much information is too much information that they don't sign up at all?
Yeah.
And how much information is too little information? In fact, I ask so little information. I only ask first name in your email for the Onesday Wednesday newsletter. I don't even use the merge tags. So that's that thing. You'll see that if someone's like, just what's your email? That's the least they can ask to get you to sign up.
Yeah.
But now they lose the power of the merge tag.
Yes.
And it's that hit or miss. I'd rather get the email than nothing. It'd be nice to get their first name to make it personal. However, not the end of the world.
Cool.
A lot of people sign up for newsletters and don't include anything. So what happens to the merge tag? Well, they can include a fallback text.
How do you?
Yep. So the fallback text would be, if no first name is here, call them you. Hey, bucko.
Hey, buddy.
Bucko is my fallback text. So we got our subject line, our from, who's the email's coming from, the preview text, and the merge tags if we can. That's that first line. That's what they see in their inbox first.
Those are the most important things when it comes to an email.
Because if they don't open it, nothing else matters.
It will result in more open, which is a higher open rate, which can lead to more sales. That's why the open rate is important, because they can't click to buy if the email never was open.
You can't skip the open rate. The open rate will always be the highest rate, and the click-through rate would always be secondary, because you can't have more people clicking than more people opening.
But Heather means by the click-through rate. We've lost her to the marketing buzzwords. When she says click-through, people are coming, they're opening their email, and now at the bottom of your email, you're like, buy my cookies, click here. So the click-through rate is when they click, buy my cookies, click here, click.
They're gone from the newsletter, so we no longer have a newsletter metric. Now, clicking through the website. That's on your website.
They're closer to buying something than they were at the beginning when they were in their inbox thinking about opening your.
So always ask yourself, like, what's the goal of this email? The goal of the Onesday Wednesday newsletter is to get you to listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
You'll see that the very first button you can click on, little do you know, you can also click on the first picture. It'll take you to, you'll never guess, the podcast.
On our CTA list.
Yes, we're very close to it. So now we got the preview content out of the way. We're going to go to the body. The body. This is the meat and potatoes of a newsletter.
Okay.
This is what makes your newsletter of value, or makes your newsletter searching for that unsubscribe button.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So we have the body. We're just going to do some tips and tricks, and then we're going to talk about a little bit of content. Keep it short and sweet.
Short and sweet. It doesn't need to be a booklet.
So people are like, with the Onesday Wednesday newsletter, it's way too long. I know it is. It's truncated in my Gmail.
Here's the thing. A lot of times if you feel guilty because you didn't send a newsletter out for the last 4 months because it got busy, you feel like you have to include all the information that happened in the last 4 months in one email. Yeah. That's a lot, and no one has that kind of time.
Also, nobody cares.
Nobody cares. You want to make it short and sweet, to the point. So your email should have one goal in mind.
Right. So Corey has this
right. Yep.
There's one goal. One gold. Should be looking for money. Short and sweet, make it skimmable. So you'll see, and I'm a huge fan.
Heather loves.
Give me a header tag so like a header tag. So when you look at an outline, you have the big text, the subtext, the subtext, the subtext,
yeah.
And all that text rolls up to support the header text.
Yes.
So the biggest text is called your H1, header 1.
Heather 1.
Remember that. Channel my inner Heather 1. The subtext is header 2, H2.
But supports
H1. You can't have H1 saying, come to my birthday party, and H2 saying it's going to rain tomorrow. They not be related. You can say H1, come to my birthday party. H2, it's on August 15th.
Yeah.
It's November 22nd. H3 would be, it's at seasons 52.
And H4,
I'm expecting a gift. So you see how everything supports the fact that I'm having a birthday party. Right. So that allows us to skim things. So you'll see in the Wednesday newsletter, it'll be like the Vendy Blendy, header 1. Mm-hmm. Header 2 is the countdown. How many days, how many weeks, how many vendors, how many penders. Nice. H3, actually I don't have one. It's just a list of the vendors. Yeah. The button is to go penned for the group. You'll see how everything supports the Vendy Blendy.
As the person getting the newsletter, what I can choose to do when I see a header like that with supporting argument underneath is, do I want to read through this? It helps me digest your information a little bit better and say, is this information for me? So what if I like your pop-ups, but I don't want to order a custom?
I'm not going to read your custom header.
I don't want to, it's not for me.
It's a warning. But I'm like, skim. What part of this do I want? Okay, and so we said we're keeping it short and sweet. Corey came up with this poem.
I did.
For you guys. No more than 2, something for me, something for you. Let's say that one more time. No more than 2, something for me, something for you. So what she's saying is, let's say we have 2 topics in this newsletter. That's pretty simple. 2 is nice. 2 is a even number.
Listen, I hear twins coming too.
Hey! That's also nice. So what she's saying is something for me is, hey, buy for me. Here's what I got coming up this week for you guys. Here's what I got coming up this month. But also something for you. And here's a list of pumpkin patches in our area.
Yeah.
I tested this series. Corey has a local community group. And every year around this time, it'll pick up September 1st, is what are the local pumpkin patches?
Oh, yeah. There are about 1 billion posts about it.
Okay. And then I didn't even have to use my brain. I just searched last year, say pumpkin patch, found all the threads asking for pumpkin patches, and I made a list. Now, to make it better, I Googled how far each pumpkin patch was away. It was from this location.
Yeah.
So it was like, this one's 19 minutes. This one's an hour and 50 minutes.
How nice.
Right. Then I ordered them by distance.
Which is insane. And from a user standpoint, I don't know where these farms are. I only look them up once a year.
You know half the places. I've lived here my whole life.
So for me to say like Burnside Farms, well, I know I've heard the word before, I have no idea how long it would take me to get these crazy kiddos in the car over there.
Turns out you're looking at a 3-hour commute back and forth to get these kids to a pumpkin patch. And then there's a pumpkin patch. Maybe it didn't have but that list, pinning it, everyone's like, this is exactly what I wanted. So take that tip. Don't even have to reinvent the wheel here. Yeah, do it yourself.
Absolutely.
Now say, here's the closest pumpkin patches to us in city.
Yeah. We're coming up into a time where there's a lot of content to choose from. And you're going to be like, come January, what do I post about? You can post about the best January Starbucks flavors that
Sledding Hills is always a big thing.
Sledding.
Those community groups. See what questions pop up. That's what people want to know. That's going to guide your content here. That's going to guide the something for you.
Yeah.
Now, the something for me is going to be your upcoming cookie class. Again, we don't want to be like, sign up for my cookie class next year. We want to be like, this class is got 3 seats left.
Pumpkin patches. Also, we're doing
Halloween
a Halloween class. They kind of go very well together.
Saw some people said like, here's some list of great places to find back to school supply coupons.
Yeah.
Also, here's my back to school cookie offerings.
Awesome.
We're marrying the something for you, something for me, so that the subject of the content of the thing matches, but it's still, hey, I'm giving something, but I'm getting something as well.
Absolutely. So there's endless amounts that you can do. We're just coming to an easy season. What fun things to do on the weekend in your town, the next parades,
Halloween lights, pumpkin patches, apple picking.
Free places where people can eat with kids. Like if your kids, that's an invaluable one.
Be like, how can I find that? Ask in a community group. They're
also,
already
coming up.
IHOP. It's Tuesdays. The more boots on the ground you have, the more invaluable your content is. Things come Christmas time. Best place to see lights. Best place to see if people like to go see the plays.
Caroling.
Yes. Hot chocolate.
Yes.
Okay, you can even do recipes. Here's my favorite hot chocolate recipe. But we want to do a little something for them and a little something for us. And you'll see when you sign up for a newsletter. Like I bought that AG1 athletic greens thing. Okay, I bought it. So like how much more? They clearly converted me, but they want to still stay top of mind. So their newsletter would be like, hey, here's something to stop bloating. Yeah. And then you'll never guess at the end, that's AG1.
Yeah.
But it's also these and then they'll interview like scientists about different topics on health. It's not about AG1, but it's around the same content.
And it's hard to stay relevant when you're constantly asking for a sale. Buy my stuff. Buy my stuff.
Imagine the newsletter is buy.
Oh, yeah. You're going to be like, okay, I bought fruit. My kid just turned 2. I'm not planning for till they're 3. So what can you give them that will keep them invested till their kid turns?
If they're saying like whatever the content of this email or the unsubscribe button, what keeps them away from that unsubscribe button?
Keeps them from hovering over.
Yeah. Be like, but I'm going to give away cookies. Great. But I've never won a giveaway. Not a day in my life. Ever. I did win one.
What did you win? Remember when Replica Surfaces did the competition?
Yes.
I did. I won 2 boards.
No way.
I did. Wow, that's great. I had to submit a photo though.
I'm orphaned on my island of never having won something. So you might be like, but I'm doing a giveaway. That would get old too.
Yeah.
So we need to have, and that's why Corey and I really
will lose me in an email was stay tuned for giveaways. Here we go.
So what I like to do, and Corey and I tested in this community group, so we're not just recommending nothing. The content that people like is the content that adds value. Tack on to the fact that like, hey guys, I'm selling this as well, and you've got a recipe for a successory. So pictures.
Pictures are worth how many? 1, 2, 3, 1,000 words.
So when you'll see the Onesday Wednesday newsletter, it starts with a picture. The next thing is a picture. Halfway through the right of the podcast are 2 pictures. Then there's a picture of the podcast poll. There's a picture of what we have in the promotion for the Cookie College. And then there's a meme. There's a lot of pictures, too many. But pictures,
We're doing horrendously, all right?
I like to email you guys every thought I've ever had. I don't know. I should trim it, but for some reason I feel like people need this. But there's pictures. So if we say, rather than just saying, here's a pumpkin patch, so test it in that group as well. I got a random picture of a pumpkin patch from like Shutterstock, right? Posted it with my list. What people saw first was the picture.
And you know,
what they knew at the list.
It's like an H1 tag in itself. You know,
whatever's behind this picture is going to be about pumpkins. When I asked the group if they had any local tomato dealers, used a picture of a tomato. In fact, I made AI generate it, and I was like, hey, because that picture is almost the biggest call to action. Again, they can't see the picture until they click on the email. Within that email, we want that picture. And this is where photography makes a world of difference. If you're still using dimly lit on my granite countertop from the 1990s with my cell phone that's 10 years old.
With your crumbs from lunch around it.
Little breath cleaner. So that's not going to sell picture. That picture's not going to sell product. So again, we don't want to have like a Shutterstock lined up next to something that's, you have no excuse. You have 4 years worth of sugar cookie marketing, photography tip content. So time to sharpen up the skills. So use pictures, not too many pictures again. Remember truncation. You only have so much attention. I say one picture of the something for you, and one picture of the something for me.
Cookie class, if you're doing cookie class,
picture of a cookie class.
Absolutely. I would, if I saw what I was going to decorate, I'd be more upset.
Yeah, if you're loading up 5 pictures per section, too many.
That's too many. You're going to lose people in the sauce.
I know, but you're like, but, no. Just one. Just find one hero image. One image that is interesting.
Just show it to your spouse. Just which photo would you
I know
like
what you're thinking.
best?
I'll just make one image of a collage. Nuh-uh. You're losing it. You're not listening to us. You're not listening. Come back.
Step away.
One. Just one. The next newsletter, you make another one.
I want to tell you, if I have to grab my glasses to see your collage.
They're like, no. You download it, you zoom in with your fingers, and then you can see everything. And then you'll be inspired. Because if I show you a picture of a baby set and you have a baby, you get a baby. And if you have a wedding, you get the wedding.
You're asking a lot of this one little newsletter.
It's newsletter. You can send more newsletters.
That's why I said one goal in mind. Your mind has one goal with each
goal, which is to make sales. So, okay, we back to this one. Use one call to action per newsletter. So that's going to help you narrow it down again.
This is what I see too often.
Okay.
I saw it on a post the other day. Can you please leave me a review? It's my birthday. Also, can you sign up for my newsletter and follow my page and invite your friends to follow my page? That was 4 asks.
That's 4 call to actions.
That's so many things to
focus
ask of somebody.
on one thing. So when we do the Vendy Blendy, I'll tell the vendors, listen, and your door prize, you can have them do anything. The only rule about the door prize is you can't make them buy something from you, right? But I said, listen. Don't make them learn how to do cartwheels. Don't make them learn how to juggle.
Absolutely not.
Don't make them solve for X. Just make them do one thing.
One simple thing.
And I know everyone's like, listen, put your left foot in, put your left foot out. Do the hokey pokey, turn yourself around. Sign up for my Instagram, sign up for my newsletter. File my taxes, pay my taxes. You gotta to do one thing. And I tell them, like, you're gonna be tempted. You're gonna be tempted to make them do 50 things because you're like, this is my one door prize. No. If you're like, hey, my goal today is grow my newsletter, that's what you're going to say.
Absolutely.
If you want to be entered to win this door prize, sign up for my newsletter.
That's it.
That's one call to action.
Not tag your bestie. Shout out your ex-husband.
Corey likes this car wash. They DM'd. They DM'd the little community pages Instagram, right? And they're like, hey, on Teacher Day, on Teacher Appreciation Day, they said if you're a teacher, you can get a free car wash. So Corey shared it because it was a great little promo. So they're like, just thinking that this would be another great promo to send to your group. So I was like, okay, let me see what it is. I'm hoping it's along the same caliber of a free car wash for teachers. It was like, listen, do you know, have you qualified for the Olympics? We're going to need you to do a backflip to get a free car wash. I'll never share.
Lost me. I'm
like, this is not, the other one was free car wash for teachers. That free car wash for teachers was so easy.
Yes.
This one, it was like, tag 3 friends, follow us on Instagram, screenshot that you followed us on Instagram.
You were entered to win $200.
Screenshot that you put us in the group chat. Screenshot that the group chat liked us. One call to action. Yeah. That means here's a list of pumpkin patches. Here's my back to school offerings. Click here.
Yeah. I would challenge you. Me and Heather love a 6-week runtime when it comes to marketing. To ask someone to do something once in an email once a month, you're probably not going to have that many conversions in there. If you're going to say, follow me on Instagram, I'm trying to grow my Instagram account, and you only ask one time, you're not going to have a huge conversion. But if you're consistent, maybe for 3 months, you focus on growing your Instagram from there.
The joke about this podcast is that nobody knows there's a podcast. So if you want to find the podcast, you go to there'sapodcast.com because it became so funny. People were like, well, I was listening on the podcast. People were like, there's a podcast?
Yeah.
So it was like this running joke that nobody knows there's a podcast. Yes, there's a podcast. The amount of times we post that there's a podcast and people say, what podcast?
Yeah.
There's a podcast?
Yes.
Shows you that consistency in reminding repeatedly for years is still not enough.
Yeah. So imagine asking just for a month. It's not enough.
I would never ask just for a month. I would ask for months. Forever.
Yeah.
And then maybe you'll get what you're asking.
Definitely don't ask for 52 things at once. Don't make it hard for them to do. If we're trying to have a goal of growing your Instagram, just ask them to follow your Instagram.
That will be this newsletter's job is to grow my Instagram. You say, at the expense of making the sale. And that is a fine exchange, but don't be like, well, I'm going to make a sale. I'm going to grow my Instagram. I'm going to grow this. I'm going to do that. Too much. Making this little guy do too much.
Yeah.
These little gummy bears, these healthy vitamin gummy bears, they send a newsletter and it's like, here's how to sleep better with these gummy bears. But it's not like, hey, girl, gummy bears, new flavors, new thing. Here's a tip. Here's sign up here. We're having a sale. Like, it's just this one. Like, here's how to sleep better.
Right.
You want to buy them again? That's how it is. So kind of like breathe deep. This is one newsletter. You're going to have some typos in it. Ideally, you don't. It happens. Trust me. And then you go, okay, girls, so I got my content. I got my list. I got my newsletter sender. How's it supposed to look? A lot of these senders have templates.
Nice.
And I just find a simple template, fill it out. It's kind of going to guide you.
Yeah.
It's going to keep you roped in. If you're using their templates and you're just, the funny joke within the moderator team is Amy's like, did you catch this post? Like, I think it's going to go south. The comments are going to go south. And when I click on the post and it's just a wall of text, no line breaks, no emojis, no formatting. I said, Amy, I can't read it. I'm not. The thought of reading it makes my eyes bleed. So you're going to say, if you have these huge wall of text, these temps will kind of rear your back in. We don't want wall of text. We want bulleted lists. We want formatting. We want to make it skimmable. We want header tags.
If you find that you're typing and typing and typing and the letters are getting smaller and smaller and smaller so it can fit in this template.
Back it up, booty. You could, and I know some of you guys say, well, I don't know what to write. I'm going to get ChatGPT to write it. Use that in addition to your own writing, because ChatGPT loves adjectives.
It loves a fluffy adjective.
It was a small day and a
when
cold
I see the
winter
word
night.
Deliciously, comma something else.
Giveaway, vibrant. Love ChatGPT, but understand that we also can't lose the fact that we are humans, and AI is trying to make it sound deliciously good, but a little bit it's kind of like, whoa, this is saying everything, word salad, saying everything without saying anything at all. So we do want to say, here's a list of pumpkin patches here's a delicious pumpkin patch with which vibrant colors arise as the fall increase. Like, we don't want to do crisp air. Like, crisp is another one. We want to use ChatGPT, but keep it focused. Yeah. You can make ChatGPT write something, and then you can be the editor and trim it down to make it more sense.
And make it sound personable. Something that you would say yourself.
If I talk to you and you're not saying vibrant, crispy, and deliciously, then it's not you, right? So use that as an assist. Don't use it as the reliance. Yeah. Keep your topics focused. Again, like Courtney said, if it's about pumpkin patches, we're in the fall. If it's about Christmas, we're about our Christmas offerings. If it's about, apple cider, you're going to have back to school. You're going to kind of marry the concept so that it's not like, hey, we're talking about Valentine's Day, and also here's a list of sledding hills. Like, unless it's snowing in your Valentine's Day era, then those two are fine. Yeah. But otherwise, kind of keep them separated. Yeah. I would say if my Valentine's Day offering, here's places that are voted the best date night restaurants in our area.
Great.
So give and take.
Yes.
Does everything need to have something for you, something for me? No, but if we're going to stay consistent, I would say that'd be great.
Valuable.
If
you are like down to the wire and you need 2 buns
Bust
in
it
your
out.
class,
Bust that out. You don't need to say, and also, speaking of buns, here's the best bread buns.
Here's the best squat routine.
I would use those sparingly, but I would use that.
Yeah.
Courtney and I have done it like, listen, people, we got...
I'm going to tell you one thing. Waste of my time to say Happy Thanksgiving.
Don't do it.
Listen, Merry Christmas.
I know, it's Christmas.
What? Did you just use my eye holes to read Merry Christmas?
Say Merry Christmas. Also, here's a list of holiday
give
lights.
Me something.
Yeah,
it's so prevalent around Thanksgiving and Christmas that I get just the 2-worded Happy Thanksgiving from our family to ours.
I don't think Target sends me Happy Thanksgiving.
And you know what? My heart is.
It sends me a bunch of sales leading up to Cyber Monday. Yeah. But it's like, if I send this newsletter, am I going to annoy people? I think it's a small business mindset to be like, Happy Thanksgiving. Like, why did I used to be really heavy into car forums before Facebook came out. So when you sign up, it makes you tell them your birthday. For years, I would drown in because they were all using the same forum platform. So it'd be like, happy birthday, Heather from my350z.com. Happy birthday, Heather from coreforums.com. Like, I'd be like, and delete. Yeah. What a waste of my life.
Absolutely.
Right.
If you want...
That was a good one.
What?
The Happy Thanksgiving one.
If you want consistency and people to find value, you can't waste it with those. Like, I don't know what to send. I'm just going to send happy holidays because it's a waste of their time. You're cluttering up the inbox. And then when they read it, it's a letdown. And the last thing they've had now with your business is a letdown feeling. Like, I'm more apt to skip the next email because you wasted my time this email.
Right. Because in your next email, it's like, here's my Cyber Monday deals. Just cut out the Thanksgiving one.
Yeah.
Just make the Thanksgiving one, here's my Cyber Monday deals.
Absolutely.
Right.
Include it with something in there, but there's nothing more that will waste and get me like irate
than a worthless happy Merry Birthmas. Like what is the fair? And I know what you're like, but it's top of mind. I'm in their email. That's a great topic. It's not a topic. It was what yours actually.
I would say make that a post on your social media.
There you go. Mm-hmm. There you go.
I'll catch it over there.
You'll never see it because Zuckerberg said no, but there you go. Okay, so that's our body. So we can keep it short, use pictures, one call to action. You can use that as a button. The newsletter sender will track who clicks on that button. That is called your click-through rate because they're clicking through something, right? And that's why Flowdesk is like, well, we'll just take their money in the email. And that's why Flowdesk is pretty interesting with that. Otherwise, we're sending them to a website where they have to do more buttons. The fewer the buttons, the higher the conversions. Conversion means you made money. It means a mortgage is paid. The lights are on. Now, here's just some ending tips for you guys. Stay consistent. Consistent can be different for each of you. Ours is weekly, but we have a lot of content to cover. Monthly is a really solid.
It's solid.
If it's a starting point and your ending point, it's a solid bet. What you do not want. And Corey and I were talking about it on the power walk she makes me take in the mornings on Tuesday.
It's beautiful weather today, by the way.
Consistency is key. You can't start something, stop something, and be like, I'm back again. I'm asleep. I'm awake. This is a TikTok thing. You got to be consistent. If it's every other month, it's every other month. If it's once a year, that's not called consistency. That's called you forgot.
And whether it's going to get busy. You're going to say right now you have tons of time on your hand in this end of August. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to send it out every single week. You're going to have to, it's going to be my new hill to die on. Then you're going to get too many orders. We're not going to hear from you from November to December.
Do you remember, Kristen, when we were PE, we had to do the presidential stretch? I don't know. I cannot touch my
What is it? It's called the presidential
fitness test?
Yes, I think so.
Right. I only know because I have like presidential PTSD from it. Kristen, a girl we went with, we'd always have a joke and we'd be like, aim low, hit high. Because she'd be like, if you came in and you're like, I'm going to be the stretchiest person here, you're going to be devastated. So when with your newsletter, aim low. Okay, I'm going to shoot for once every other month.
Yeah.
Hit high, what if I get every month?
Once every month. But if you're like shooting out the gate.
I'm doing every week, then you're going to be devastated because you're not going to make it every week.
At the end of the day, while it is easier with these platforms.
Here's the thing. Do you know how much time that pumpkin list took me? It took me an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And the list was already created by other people, but organizing the data took time.
Yeah, it did. So imagine if you're like, I don't know what to talk about. Once a month is absolutely okay. And from an end user standpoint, I don't really need to talk to my baker every single day. I don't.
You're not. I'm a therapist. You are just their baker. So we're going to say top of mind. We're going to shoot for once a month. You can actually already write this stuff right now. These newsletter senders have schedulers. No. But you're like, but I don't even know what I'm offering for Christmas. When I schedule out the Onesday Wednesday newsletter, I write them on Tuesdays to go on Wednesdays. I'm not thinking that far ahead.
Right.
I can go back and edit it. Along the way up until it goes out.
So you can have everything pre-done.
And maybe not my pictures, but I have a placeholder and say, when I'm ready, I'll add this picture.
I'll add the picture and then the link.
And you're like, but what if I forget? You can keep them as drafts. It even has drafts, so you don't even be worried about it. Goodness. So we could write all these drafts right now, have the skeleton ready. And then we're like, okay, now my website's got my pre-sale on there. Now I can add this and there it goes out. So there's really no excuse. We are running out of runway for our slow time. We're on careening.
Click, going up there.
But you could write that now. You could get the bare bones of it now. You could have your schedule drafts.
You could even just put the little topics that you're thinking about right now.
Yeah.
Put the topics in there.
You can have your
topics right on
Thank
there.
you very much.
Yeah.
That'd be very nice. So stay on consistent and schedule your newsletter. So we can stay consistent if we schedule newsletters. That's great. Corey and I stay on this weekly schedule because
We have something that we can deliver to you.
And now people are like, where was last week's? And I'm like, oh, that's so great.
Nice.
I was inconsistent, but I was consistent about it.
Nice. Just a good reminder that we need to be consistent.
Corey added, keep your audience in the know of changes about your newsletter. Typically, I would say, if it wasn't for the family event, I would say, hey guys, we're not doing the podcast this week. So
Just
there's
to give
no
you some
Wednesday.
expectation.
If you were sending every week for month, if you're sending every month and suddenly you're like, hey, I'm going on vacation, be like, hey guys, I'm out of town for the month of July.
Next month, we will be talking about pumpkin patches.
Yeah, so you can do that. If anything, that would stay consistent. Just have that schedule go out to July. So keep your audience in the know of big changes for your newsletter. And Corey's ads include, like, if you're formatting changes. And you could say, hey, we're adding this to the newsletter, things like that. Fonts matter. Again, we are writing the email in our newsletter sender. A lot of times it's like, you can use whatever font you want. But the email provider, the person receiving, can't always display Funko fonts.
And listen, we're digesting this on a 6x2 cell phone screen.
Yep. Your little curly cues, them curly cues.
I love that bakers love a curly font.
Somebody has to be like, where are my glasses?
Oh, you've
When your
asked them to do two
newsletter
things.
comes.
Now click through and find their glasses.
But you're probably on top of the head and they'll never find them.
Probably.
So I prefer sans serif web fonts.
Oh,
I try not to go too crazy with fonts.
Yeah.
What's the minimalist font?
Easy to read.
Arial? Arial? Very great guide. Times New Roman, a little stuffy.
While they aren't fun and fancy and free, they're easy to read, and that is what the goal is.
Yes. So sans serif and serif.
Sure.
Serif. You know, Times New Roman has a T and it has little side
I like
arms.
the sidearm. I hate piping those.
Those are serif.
Serifs?
Serif fonts.
Gosh darn it, serifs.
Sans, what does sans mean?
No.
Serif?
No.
No little arms on the
Little
T's.
arms.
That makes them easier to read.
No. And pipe.
And pipe. So again, if you wouldn't pipe it, don't use it. So
Don't type it.
Keep your fonts simple. Stop. I think the method is only 2 different fonts per campaign, per medium, right? So if you're like, well, I have a credit key here, now I have a little fat font here, and I have a little skinny font here, I have a sans serif font here.
That's a lot for your eyes to
That's
digest.
overwhelming,
Yeah.
and it's hard to follow. So when we use the same fonts, but we bold them, we use the same fonts and we make the text
does the
larger and
same
smaller.
thing.
It actually provides that hierarchical context of like, this is where I read first, this is where I read second, this is where I read third.
Annoying.
But when you're like, I'm not going to make the fonts bigger and larger, I'm going to make them different. I don't know which font is taking priority. And then analyze your metrics. So all these newsletter senders provide metrics or somewhere within the dashboards. Just click around. The metrics, don't get overwhelmed. We want to focus on, did people open that last email?
Give them, what is a good open rate? Guys, get ready for your gas to be gasted.
80%. Huh? 8%. Like that's what, like the open rate. I'm sorry, like that's click-through rate. Anything 20, 30, 40% is standard.
That's
Anything
not a
higher than
lot.
that is
If
fantastic.
you were like, oh, only 80% of people opened it, round of
You got
applause.
80%. I want you to come and audit mine. To expect 100%, consider this. So we have, don't go by subscriber numbers. There's 7,226 people signed up for the newsletter. Deliverability, only 5,800. On a good day, 6,200 actually receive the email.
Wow.
So we lose 1,000 people just for the fact their inbox didn't accept it.
Oh, wow.
Right. Whether it be they mistyped, a lot of
So
people
we're
had full
already-
inboxes.
We're already losing before we started.
Now, okay, now we only got, let's pretend we got 6,000 emails in inboxes.
Yeah.
A lot of them, they're in the promotional tab. Good luck. People aren't checking that tab. Okay, so then let's say we got people that, so then we got, okay, let's say 3,000 people, which is still a lot of people, got in their inbox.
Yeah.
We got in the inbox primary tab.
Wow.
Now we got to get opened. We're not, okay, let's say 1,500 people opened it.
we're less.
We got them. We're fighting for our lives.
Listen, we're at a quarter of our email list, and we're working with thousands.
We're under a quarter. Yeah. We started with 7 though.
Yeah.
So we got them to open it. I can get most of that, let's say that we got like 1,500 of that, 750 people only wanted the transfer sheet, which I put at the top because I know what the exchange is. So let's say 750 people read the newsletter. Okay. Click-through rates are 4%.
Yeah.
8% on average. So that's a click-through rate, meaning let's say they signed up for the Cookie College. I want to guarantee you, very, very, very rarely do people sign up for the Cookie College from that newsletter.
Yeah.
But if one person out of 7,226 signed up, it would make my day.
But I want you to know that when you're sending it to your 40 clients and you have a low open rate, it's not bad.
No, because look at I just peeled back what that looked like for 7,000 people.
Yeah, so you can't don't be like, well, I'm not saying the right thing.
There's 16 people unsubscribing every week. Don't know what you are doing. There's a lot of, if you ping an email receiver enough times, it'll naturally sort itself out. Those email newsletters will see themselves out. Like
they end up in my spam folder. So when you're judging yourself, the biggest thing is you can't look back at previous data if you're not consistent.
Right.
Because it won't make sense. It will not.
It's worthless data.
It's worthless. But if you're consistently seeing a higher open rate each month, that is a win.
That open rate isn't to discourage you or tell you. It's to say, oh, wow, you see a lot of people opened it up when I did that pumpkin list?
Yeah.
Pumpkin lists are in.
The pumpkin lists are in.
Oh, you say a lot of people opened it up when I talked about splash pads. Splash pads are in.
Yep.
Or hey, a lot of people opened up when I talked about my pre-sales. They really like pre-sales.
And you're going to see, just like with cookie orders, there's an ebb and flow. People will have maxed out their credit cards in December. January, they're not looking to spend anything.
They're probably not. A lot of us do inbox zero initiatives on January 1. You may get the axe.
The clutter. So there's so many things that go into it. So I always say it never feels bad if you're learning something. So your goal is, one, you're going to have low open rates because this is new. You just started.
Yes.
You're just hitting their inboxes for the first time. You can't expect that to be life-changing.
Yeah. So we want to say our email list is growing. If it's by one person, if it's by 2 people, great. That's a healthy growth.
Yes.
We don't want to be like, oh, I only have 40 people. 40 people is delicious.
Yeah.
And vibrant and crisp if all 40 people are very interested.
Absolutely.
Okay, so our email list is growing. We're not focusing on what that number is. We're focusing on the growth, that there are numbers and the numbers are increasing. We're not caring by which rate. Then we go to our open rate. Well, not everybody opened it. No. We don't care if everybody opened it. How many times they open it in accordance with the content? That's going to direct what kind of content this audience wants.
Yeah.
Okay, what we're not going to check is who unsubscribed. Cut them loose, let them go.
Yeah.
Sometimes they unsubscribe on their own. I unsubscribe. I feel guilty about it. I unsubscribe all the time.
Here's the thing. We don't want to market to someone who doesn't want to be marketed
They're doing
to.
us a favor. They're cutting themselves loose.
Thank
Do not open who unsubscribed.
Yeah, you're just going to hurt your feels.
Don't look at them.
Don't do it.
If someone unsubscribed and reported you as spam, understand that older people don't understand that spam report, to them, it's an unsubscribe button. Little do they know, it's ruining your lives. It is what it is. We're not going to reach out back and we're not going to say, what did I do? We're not going to say, why didn't you like this?
And
we're
we're
going to
not going
say,
to make a post on Facebook that's ambiguous and say, if you signed up for my newsletter and unsubscribe, how dare you?
Backspace. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on how do we get more people to read than last week, and are people signing up than last week?
And as the ebb and flow of people wanting custom-made bakes ebbs and flows, we're not going to say, I ruined January.
And we're not going to say 3 people unsubscribed. It's over, kids. Pack it up. Baking's done. Nobody likes baking. What we're going to do is we're going to realize what's within our realm.
Aim low, shoot high.
Yeah. Kristen, if you're listening to this, Kristen, still doing it. Aiming low, shooting high. So that is our podcast. I hope that kind of guides you better.
Was deliciously fulfilling.
And very crisp content. And I thought it was vibrant the way you went through that.
It was quite evergreen.
What are the other ones?
I don't know. There's a lot.
Committed. ChatGTP, we needed you and we did not. So let's go into our text questions. We've got a fan mail.
What?
Yeah, we do. Hi, twins.
Hi.
My name is Kelsey. I've been binging the podcast and I have learned so much. I wanted to know from a marketing standpoint, what's a good way to transition from one name to another and introduce a new face to your business? I've added a co-owner to my business and we decided to rebrand in honor of the change for our cottage bakery. I wanted to rename my social media pages and handles for the new business, but I didn't want to just do it blindly for my followers. How do I not blindside them with the name change on pages? And how can I introduce my new co-owner? Any advice would be really helpful. Thanks again. San Angelo, Texas.
San Angelo. Well, you're in luck.
Somebody from San Angelo is like, it's Angelo.
You're in luck because I did do a name change, but let me tell you the process, 6 to 7 months.
If anything, we still have some residual parts of it that we've actually liked.
But we held each person's hand as we took them to this new name.
Yes.
First, before we go and just change the names and URLs,
we need an announcement.
We had to have an announcement. Hey guys, this is upcoming. I want you to expect it.
I would say an announcement, runtime 2 months.
2 months. That's going to stay pinned at the top of your page.
Yes. So what we did for Corey's is we changed the cover photo to new name, formerly old name.
Yeah. So it says Mixing Bowl Cookie Company, formerly the Crumbed Cookies.
We did that on Google business pages as well, and on her form, and in her autoresponder.
And on my Facebook page.
Yeah. So let's say 2 months before you ever change any branding, you're going to say, hey guys, here, I would love in my mind a picture of you and the co-owner together.
I want to say, even before that, I said, guys, help me choose a new name.
Oh, very nice.
I made my audience involved with it because everyone has an opinion. You don't have to take any of theirs. What we're just doing is getting them involved. Everyone's got one. I'll sing. We want to get them we want to get them involved in the process that they're thinking the name is changing. The name is changing. I'm going to throw this little name in the
changed name. This is going to happen. So we're going to also do that in our newsletter.
Yeah.
So that, again, like Corey said, keep them in the know. Mm-hmm. We're not going to be like one day, huzzah, new colors, new name.
Right.
We're going to be like, hey guys, new names coming on. And I would even pick a day. Since you have a co-owner, it'd be nice to get everyone expected. Nothing's changing. No colors are changing. You can start doing little teasers or, hey, here's a color palette I'm thinking of. Again, if you ask people their opinion, they're going to give it. You don't have to take it.
I wanted to say, it's great to ask them their opinion, even if you already have the stuff chosen.
Yeah. Like people are like, we don't like your name. Corey's like, great.
That's all right.
The name she picked. But it allowed them to kind of like, I think you even asked in a community group who posted in a lot.
I'm really looking for a logo that matches this new name on
Right. So again, see, we're just flirting. We're letting people know. Then we did kind of a big breadth of rebranding the visuals.
Yeah.
We did the visuals before we did URLs. In fact, a lot of the URLs we waited to the last minute to change.
Yeah.
Why not change the URL when you change the branding? It kills every link associated with the old URL. Now, that's different than changing your handles.
Yeah.
Handles stay, tags die, links die. It's very confusing. Social platforms handle them differently. So what we did with Corey is we did a lot of new brand formally. She did a pin post announcing it, pinning it, and that's with all the new colors. It was very progressive. Again, in the grand scheme of things, do you lose sales doing this? Absolutely. You just have people who are like, oh, I was looking for the old name.
Absolutely.
Right.
You're going to have people who ordered from you 1 year ago and have not been following you since then, and they only have your business card from a year ago.
So what we kept Corey's old inbox going. Again, it was a custom domain. We kept that one going for a year.
Yeah. Because I was still getting emails.
Right. But we kept the new domain going, and Corey would get inquiries in the old inbox, but only reply to them in the new one. So that's how we kind of transition. What are you looking past me? Corey that's how we kind of did the transition for that. Now, just in the last oddly 1 month, we were like, hey, let's clean up the URL. Like we were on the fence for Cookie Co. and Cookie Company. We finally cleaned that up, I think.
We did. Except for my Instagram doesn't match, but whatever.
Because it was taken.
It's taken. I even reached out to
you and I and Instagram handles now. You'll never get it. Sugar Cookie Marketing handle.
Listen,
that person was like, 2020, I'll never do this again. So that's how we do that. And then one day you'll be like, okay, we fully transitioned to the new name with the co-owner.
And then you're going to start seeing me unpin stuff. My cover photo no longer will say formerly the Crumb Cookies.
It's just this new brand. For any residual properties, I would work on deleting them at this time. Again, we're a year into the rebrand. There's no need for the old stuff. We shut down Corey's old email address. It was really spiderwebby, wasting our money as well.
Yeah.
So we shut down that, and now it's completely transitioned over.
And
Did she lose sales? Yes.
Absolutely. Was there a small transition period where I'm like, I'm getting no sales? A little bit.
A little dead zone.
And that was
I don't think we did enough of the runtime. I wish we could have. If hindsight in 20, I would have made it a 2 month consistent a content bucket,
Yeah,
branded
absolutely.
content.
You can make
bucket.
it its own content bucket
And just post about that weekly,
Uh-huh.
and then kind of do a. Now, what I don't prefer, and this is just my professional opinion, is like I'm not telling you anything, and then bazam, and then I would like to say, hey, I would like to keep them in on that process. Like, here's the name, here's the colors, versus the whole blurry. You'll never see what this is until one day I just pop up and I'm a new person.
Yeah.
I would say introducing a lot of content about the co-owner and how the co-owner adds to the business and the new things the co-owner brings to it would really
The
get people
pace
involved.
is set by how often your customers return to you. If you're at markets each week and that's your bread and butter, you could do it a little bit faster because you're able to reach a lot more people.
If you're a baker who turns off for the summer, you're going to have a longer run time because your audience is like, whoa.
Yeah, we haven't seen you in 6 months.
Right. We don't want to be like, I'm back for the summer under a new name.
Yeah, because people aren't going to know.
They're like, I'm just waiting for you to come
Yeah,
back.
if you're like a coffee shop, you can do it a little faster.
Yeah.
If people are ordering once a year, which typically baking, if you're doing custom stuff.
This is where that newsletter is very helpful because we get back in their inbox. Another way to let them know. This is where, hey, Instagram people, I'm keeping you around. So if you look at Corey's branding, not that she had much before, but now it's very orange. Right. A website is a very great place because we can use old domains and redirect them to new domains. That means that old domain that you've been posting about for years still funnels people to our new domain. And you'd have a banner saying, I used to be called this and now we're called this. Learn about our story here.
Nice.
So that's how I do that. Great question.
Great.
Let's go to the Vendy Blend. You want to tell them what it is?
Vendy Blendy, also government name, vendor blender. It's a day of sales where you
If the vendor blender had a middle name, what would the name be?
Venderly Blender.
Venderly Blender?
Yeah, Venderly Blender.
His middle name is Venderly? His first
No,
name, Vendor.
His vendor, Lee.
Oh, he's a Lee.
Vendor.
Venderly.
Venderly
Lee,
Vendor.
Okay.
The vendor blender, which we have so lovely named Vendy Blendy over the course of time. Name change, not good.
Because vendorblender.com is $1,000, $5,000.
The Vendy Blendy is taking place on November 29th at 12:01 a.m. It goes to 11:59 p.m. same day.
Meaning 23 hours and 58 minutes.
What it does is we bring vendors that are baking related to our people, which is you guys, and they have to offer 25% off or more.
This is the first year of 25%.
This is unheard of, unreal. So 25% off or more for the 23 hours and 58 minutes. You get to get in there. You'll get in there November 29th. We'll all get in there on November 29th.
And if you're like, I'm not interested in the group, you can snag. It'll be a Google Sheet, right-click, save as, download, shop away on your own time.
Yeah.
However, that group is so fun that day because we have these door prizes.
Giveaways.
Yeah.
And what's great is the requirement to do the door prizes from the vendors, because vendors are really just hoisting up the door prizes, is you don't have to be required to buy anything. So it's great to just get in the group, even if you're not buying anything, and just have the opportunity to win
free.
something.
But if you do buy something, it will be 25% off this year for the first time ever.
Listen, packaging, cutesy packaging. It'll be in there.
Baking supplies.
Baking supplies, baking mats. If you're like, I've heard about those baking mats that are expensive, tis the day to buy them.
Do you know Arlene Chua, baking mats lady? She's not even a vendor at CookieCon. So this would be a great place to get this.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Cookie cutters, endless, will be there. Scribes. All
airbrush machines. STLs.
STLs.
Obviously cutters.
Shirts that are baking themed.
Print materials. Actually, spices. Tasty Tin. Temmie's back. I think she's done this almost every year.
I think she has.
Yeah. So we have, the Vendy Blendy is very much a go. We had a 30 vendor threshold before we actually put our money where their mouth is and starts. We are at 43 vendors.
Wow.
All is a return. I actually haven't opened it up to new vendors. I'll do that in September.
Wow.
Vendors in September. That'd have been better. September, November. Yeah, they run. So let me just read through. I'm just going to go through the list. 43 Vendys at 25% off or more. Many people have chosen or more. And I think almost every single one of these vendors is doing a door prize. Here is the great thing. I know people are like, well, I'm not from the United States or I'm from Canada. I'll have all that information listed. You'll know who's shipping, where, shipping thresholds, if they're international shipping, if, because we do have some non-U.S. vendors as well. So I have all that information already tabulated here. Let me just read this backwards. Equinox Pastry Supplies, Bakers, Cutters, and Prints, The Sweetest Tears, Carentology, Cute Cookie Kits, Rose's Cookie Shop, Tasty Tin, The Sugar Cookie Dealer, The Pink Piggy, My Two Cookies, Scribes by Shirls, The Dessert Depot, The Cookiery, Sam's and June's Bake Shop, Mad Batter Cookie Co., My Dope, Sugarloaf Mountain Designs, JoJo's Specialty Shop, Sweet Pink Olive, Chewa Cookie, Busy Bakers, Whipsy, Dare to Bake, Cookie or Prince, Brighton Cutters, Minted Prints, Lolly Bee Custom Cutters, The Bougie Baker Boutique, Sweeties Tasty Treats and Scribes, Sunshine Day Biz, Miss Cookie Packaging, Sweet Bite App, AE Core Backers, Cookie Cutters by Nori, Mixer Skirt, Cup of Cookies, Love and Flour Baking Supplies, One Smart Cookies and Crafts, More Decor, The Domestic Cookie, Bobby's Cutters, The Blue Honey Cutter Co., and The Cookie College. And that's before I even opened this up to everybody else.
We're not going to have a ton of unlimited vendors like we did last year. There was a lot.
72.
Yeah, so we're going to cut it off somewhere.
Uh-huh.
There's going to be a fight for the finish.
I don't know.
This is
a lot.
We'll discuss.
Let's figure it out.
But it's so much fun. You're going to go find the group Vendy Blendy by Sugar Cookie Marketing on Facebook. You're going to request to join, and then you're going to pend till November 29th. No one gets in. So you're going to pend with just about everyone who is there. We'll all pend. You can get in there. You can snag just the pinned post at the top, which will be all the discounts.
So you stick around all day. I'll have a schedule for big door prizes. So the vendor Lee Blender gives away big door prizes. So each one of these vendors, not only do they give you the 24% off, they pay towards this big door prize. Depending on how many you get signed up is how the door prize will be determined, and we'll have those scheduled out throughout the day.
Yeah, so you can kind of know when you should tune back in.
But fun enough, the vendors can do their door prizes whenever. They all have to pick the winner by 10 p.m. and you'll stick around 10 p.m. Eastern. These are all Eastern Standard Time. It is a vibe.
It's so fun.
People are like, I didn't even know what to expect, but I'm pegged to the revelry. I loved it.
It's so good.
It gets bigger and bigger every year. Last year, my goal was 8,000 spenders. Because you're penders until you go in, then you're spender.
Yeah.
And we passed 8,000.
I know. The day of, so many people requested.
The year before was only 5,000.
Listen. Consistency.
Yeah. But it all exists in this group. Why don't we do it in the main group? The main group is about cookie marketing.
And listen, everyone in the main group didn't opt in.
Right.
See how we're doing it?
So that's why I was able to say to the vendors, and that's a great point. I said, these pending people have opted in. They are ready. They are primed. They are deliciously vibrant.
Crispy
and committed. So that's where that double opt-in thing is. Because if we were like, well, we're going to sell to 46,000 people, but 46,000
didn't want to buy anything.
Hardly, yeah. So that double opt-in. Okay. That's a vendor blender. If you want to go see the list of vendies, go to thevendys.com. If you want a pendy, you can go to vendyblendy.com and I'll forward you there.
Nice. What's next?
Good college.
Good college. Good college. I got. Today is being shipped to me the next Cookie Class kits. If you don't know, the Cookie College gets everything. Everything we've ever made, you can find it.
It is the biggest bang for your buck.
In the Cookie College. We have done that. It's called popcorn pricing.
You're like, are you using marketing on me? Absolutely we are.
The Cookie College consists of step-by-step, hold your hand, help with online marketing, and we're by your side the entire time. If you are looking to up your photo game, that's probably the most popular because I did it.
If you're wondering how to set up a newsletter, I walk you through Flowdesk and MailChimp.
A Gmail, email, sign.
What?
Signature?
Email signature. Added that one. If you want to do a custom Gmail sign, I can have it. If you want to do a sign up form, I walk you how to do
What?
There's a lot there. And the Cookie College is here to help you market your bakery better. Within the Cookie College, there's 5 different memberships. The $2 transfer cups, $2. You get transfers. Got to add my August transfers. Working on that. You can also do the digital downloads. Got to add that. That's a monthly digital download that you can use to market your business. But you also get every digital download we've ever offered since September 2021.
Wow, it's a lot.
You also get the Baker's Business Basics. That is a membership for $36. It is 12 foundational courses. If you're like, I'm just getting started, I need a direction, that's going to be where you want to go. And at the end of that one, there is a discount code to get the Cookie College at that grandfather pricing, which we do not offer anymore. We only offer that one day, and that is on the Vendy Blendy Day. Above that is the Cookie Class kits. It's everything you need to teach a cookie class. Just add you bake the dough, and you order the cookie cutters that we have a relationship with Sweet Pink Olive for. But all the curriculum, all the promotion, all the stuff you need to teach a class each month is included. That you also get every other class we've uploaded this year. So that means January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, and September.
Nice.
What was September's class? Oh, cats.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Corey is working on October's, which will be make your own skeleton.
You build your own skeleton.
It'll be so cute. And she posted the preview in the Cookie College. Now, the top tier is the Cookie College, includes all those other memberships. The other memberships are by themselves. They all include the $2 transfer club because I'm a giver. But the Cookie College includes all those memberships, which is the $2 for the $2 transfer club, the $10 for the digital downloads, the $36 for the Baker's Business Basics, the $63 for the Cookie Class Kits is all bundled in the price of $76 for the Cookie College, which already includes tons of its own content. If you bought all those
separately.
182, 189.
If you just bought the college, it's
76.
So if you bought it separately, it's
189.
And if you bought just the college? 76.
You see where we're going with this. It is a deal. Now, when the Cookie College goes on sale on the Vendy Blendy Day, the people who already registered in the Cookie College at that $76, I will walk them through how to also snag that price. So you're not losing anything by signing up today. In fact, you're gaining all the stuff that the Cookie College has to offer, and then you can also get that discount. Because I gotta honor my buddies who already my loyal buddies.
Heather's loyal.
I'll get you that discount. I'll get you in there.
If you want to learn more about these different memberships we offer, you can go to thecookiecollege.com.
And we'll be offering a template library. It'll be ready a little. My month got thrown off, but it'll be ready in September. It's already included in that Cookie College. So again, the Cookie College gets better and better and essentially cheaper and cheaper. The Cookie College also gets all the 2023 class kits, which is another 12.
I want to talk about the template library, as that is a very vague buzzword.
Sorry.
What we see a lot of people having issue with when they come to the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group is, I have a customer who's irate. What do I say to them? I have a customer who didn't show up on time. What do I say to them? I have someone who didn't show up for cookie class but wants a refund. What do I say to them? So what we're going to do is just give you a template that you can draw some inspiration from. You can use it as is. You can add some of your personality to it, of how to approach these very, very common issues that can arise with clients. Mm-hmm. Now, is every single random, my customer wanted this shade of robin blue and I did eggshell? No, it'll be close. Like, hey, the colors are a little off. What to say to that? So that's what this template library will be able to pull from.
Right. I think I renamed it Copy Template Library. So understand, here's the copy I'd need, and it's a template that I'll outfit for this situation.
Yeah.
Get more reviews, reply to star reviews, reply to 1 star with no content. And that'll be priced a la carte, meaning I think we'll price them at $2 a script, and you'll have 3 different versions: real chummy, sort of chummy, not chummy at all. Business. Little, what do they call? Mullet. Party in the front, business in the back, whatever. That's how you do that. But that'll be included in the Cookie College. You don't have to spend another cent.
Nice.
Otherwise, you could buy those. I just need this, or I just need that. We didn't want to create that one as a subscription, because how much more problems you have. We're right. I guess we could, but that'd be weird.
Moving on.
Okay.
To our sponsors. Start.
I just jumped right over.
Man. What was I jumping over?
I don't know. You just screw the Cookie College.
No, fine. This is fun. Okay. This week, unfortunately, I signed up for a wedding vendor show.
Unfortunately, it is an understatement of the year.
But I still need to go home and bake for it. We're using Eddie. Eddie is a direct-to-food printer. Literally, when I still turn them on, I'm awe-inspired. It's the coolest thing. Think of airbrush colors, but coming out through what looks like an actual printer that prints on paper. So the options are endless, what you can print: people's names, photos, people's dogs' photos, colorful backgrounds. You can pipe on the top of it. The options are endless. But for this thing, we're putting Eddie to the testing. And we are taking him to this vendor show at this very, very beautiful barn that's outfitted for weddings.
I don't think any of this is going to work out. I like our intent.
Listen, my brain is, we are going to have Eddie print. We're going to taste photos. Right after we finish this podcast, we're going to test it. I brought Eddie. We buckled him in. He drove with us as a family over here. And we're going to test Eddie. And if this works out, there's a lot of ifs in here. What an opportunity to almost bring Eddie as a showcase to these wedding events.
So, I'm sorry. That sounded easy, which she has me do. And we'll do a podcast on this after next week. We had to get a tablecloth because we didn't have that. We had to get a sign because we don't have that. We had to get a backdrop because we don't have a booth. So we had to get that. Like, this is expensive. I had to get a vendor day policy.
Yeah. But what we are bringing is now we
Data.
know how to do it.
The rule of thumb here, you have to keep doing it to make this make financial sense. But yeah, we'll take some videos and photos and talk about it on the
Eddie,
podcast.
if you want to see what that man can do, go to the Eddie Printers user group on Facebook. If you want to see what people have done with him, go look up Eddie, the edible printer, on Instagram. They have so many followers. They're always sharing. If you tag them, they will share your stuff.
Use code MiracleTwins to pay full price at checkout. They do not run discounts. They will not be in the vendor blender. However, they are a great company. They know their worth, and it pays for himself.
I was just perusing a macaron group, and someone's like, I'm wondering if I should get an Eddie. And all the comments were like, I couldn't do these big orders without him. It's opened up my business.
Once you taste of the capabilities, the doors that open with Eddie, you stop with the whole.
Yeah,
it's
and
dating.
for you out there, you guys out there.
I posted this
like,
funny meme.
Huh?
I posted this funny meme on the Sugar Cookie marketing page. It's not cheating to use an edible printer, because then it's cheating to use a pre-mixed meringue batter. Then it's cheating to use an oven. Like, how far do you want to take it back?
Right. Here's the thing. It's if you're like, but you lose the art of piping. You can use Eddie with piping. It's been my favorite thing to do.
When you combine Eddie with some piped,
people
are like, how?
The coolest thing.
I've
the
never.
coolest.
Corey sometimes will print Eddie cookies and give them at our cookie classes, and people aren't like, you cheater. They're like, wow, how did you do this? I could do this over here. Things like that. So we will be dry running with Eddie.
Dry running. I didn't bring any cookies for now, but I did bring one of those.
I just need to make sure that the camera talks, the computer talks to Eddie.
Listen,
I have zero.
For better,
I have so many doubts.
Or for worse, for richer, or for poorer.
Poor emphasis on how much you make.
Eddie will be with you.
Never last, never least, Bakety Bake meringue powder called Royal Batch. You can look it up at baketybake.com. If you're just like, hey girls, what was the code? Twins is 10% at checkout. No, she hasn't signed up for the Vendy Blendy yet. I'm working my magic. I'm working. She's going to actually be at Cookie Con Vendor Hall. Yeah. That said, you can get some tester packets, just like we said with the newsletter. Before you just dive into a whole bag, 1 pound, 5 pound, get the tester packets. I think the discount code works on those too. See if you like it. Corey, what's your little tip with it?
Here's my thing. I am a slower decorator, so I need it to crust a little less fast. So I even save more meringue powder, because when I dump the third of a cup in, I take a heaping tablespoon back out. And that gives me a little bit more time to fix all my little issues.
Yeah, Corey really likes it. It must be great. She won't even let us use it for her cookie classes.
No, I haven't.
But if you want to learn more about Bakety Bake, go to baketybake.com. Code TWINS to save 10%, which will cover shipping, maybe a little bit more depending on your proximity.
Nice.
And then we'll try to get an event in Blondie. No promises. I'm doing my best, kids. I'm doing my best.
Doing our best.
Moving on.
You have a 20 trust? Twin trust?
Hold on. Let me think. I got that camera. That Camp Snap.
Was this your thing the other week?
Yeah, but I got it.
Okay. Yeah, I saw your photos. They were very nice.
They were weird. Here's what I don't like about it.
Camp of
it is like
2004.
A camera with film in it, but it's a digital camera. It has no screen. Things I absolutely hate. It makes a sound.
It makes a jarring sound.
Yes, don't like that at all. Like the quality, it has that old nostalgia.
Yeah,
it's
like
very
2004 camp counselor type vibe.
Right. So we had a ton of family over this week, and I was like, "Hey, buddies, we're gonna do this." And it was interesting to see, because I'd be like, 1, 2, 3, and it would take the photo, and nobody could say what it looked like. Yeah. But they all were like, "Hey, can you send that to me when you develop it?"
I know.
But it's not. It's a digital camera, so you just plug it into your computer. It pulls them up. It works as far as being present, because you cannot see what you took. I just took the picture and put the camera down.
Yeah.
It really kept you in. Nobody cared what they look like, because that's what they look like. And it was kind of a neat conversation topic.
Mm-hmm. That was very nice.
I thought it was a good idea. 65 is overpriced. It's way overpriced.
Heather said it feels cheap.
Because there's nothing inside. I would have put up weight in it. But however, my little sister was like, wow, if I had taken that to Disney, I probably would have better photos. I feel so worried about heavy cameras. They're so
fancy.
heavy. You're worried about dropping them. This thing, if you dropped, I think it would survive an atomic bomb.
Bounce back up.
Yeah, so it was cheaply made, but it makes a ton of sense, and I'm still not opposed to it. Mm-hmm. I would recommend it. I would recommend you getting one, actually.
Really?
Take a picture of Arch.
I know.
Be intentional. Because it's like the size, 4x6 is what it's taking.
Yeah.
It doesn't warp the edges. You don't get that weird, like, oh, no, we're going to use this.
Yeah.
Because you have to take the picture so deliberately. You're not just taking random pictures of the moon.
Yeah.
You're like, say cheese.
I don't really have a twin trust, but I was able to get my son into a school. It was, listen, I felt like I was, this is the voice. And no one turned around to cheer for me. But I had to sit in the principal's office yesterday for him to give me the final verdict. I said, why are my pits sweating? I'm like, and then to my right, he had a tissue box and it said, a tissue for your issue. I was like,
Tissue for your issue.
Because he's the principal. It's hilarious. But my son got in.
Do you feel relieved?
She just sent me the thing to sign up. So as soon as this
Gotta. Wow. Okay, guys, we'll see you. Simple Treasures for Sale finally sent me their first newsletter ever. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my favorite TikTok.
yeah.
Wow. But that's, again, be consistent because it's the first time in a year.
Yeah, you want.
Okay. See you guys next time.
Bye.